I'm running my mouth on everything hot in sports, news, drama, and whatever is blowing up the timeline. Let's get into it. What's going on, y'all? Y'all already know me as DJ Trice, and welcome back to another episode of the Post Up, where I post it up, running my mouth about sports always. And you know we live right after 5. I got a new friend here on the show today. I personally call him my arch nemesis of the sports world, which is a term of endearment because this is one of my homies. Welcome to the show, Nick Hamilton. How are you?
Hey, I'm in my fresh H&M shirt, so I ain't gonna be crying about going to Bloomingdale's, but I'm all right.
Oh, I knew you was gonna come with some drama. Hey, you know what's funny? That is so funny to me because I understand what she's saying. It's just not a personal conversation. I don't think. I mean, like public conversation is what I'm saying. She should have had that
Yeah,
with her homies. Having that out in the world just don't sound good ever.
and no one really cares. The people got real problems out here trying to get groceries and medication. You out here talking about you can't afford to go to Bloomingdale's. No one really cares.
Man,
I'm
tone
gonna be
deaf.
quite honest with you. And I'm not mad at her because she's accumulated so much success, and I'm glad for her success. I got a chance to interview her, but a time or so. Really cool person. It's just unfortunate you got to read the room.
Yeah.
And this ain't the climate for you talking about first world problems.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you because and me and you both know, with productions and with budgeting, like you understand what she's saying fundamentally, but
Okay.
culturally, like, girl, what is you even thinking? We talking about B Simone for y'all that don't know what we talking about. Just Google B. Simone, Simone, if you are listening in audio and don't have time, but do it when you in your car. All right. She had some controversial statements just talking about, she had to downgrade her lifestyle. Like, shop at H&M. So, we're crying tears for her. But thanks so much, Nick Hamilton, for just bringing in some cultural stuff because, we like to talk about what the internet is
Oh,
talking
thank
about.
you, man. I need a tissue. Hold on a second.
Oh,
Excuse me.
tissue for her.
Uh,
Nick, to start off, just tell the people who are your first time on my show. So tell the people where they can find you, what you're most known for.
well, if you got a smartphone and you got some Wi-Fi, you can find me on Instagram at Nick Hamilton. Excuse me, at the NH Experience. You can find me on X at Nick Hamilton 213. You can also follow us at Nitecast Media on TikTok, Instagram, and X or Twitter, whatever y'all calling it these days. And also find me at youtube.com/ at Nightcast Media TV, where sports, entertainment, culture, and lifestyle square up.
All right. And I'll make sure I link all of those in the description for those of y'all who couldn't write it down or didn't have time to type it into your phone. So rest assured that it'll be in this description as soon as we get done. So Nick, let's talk about W, okay? I love running my mouth about the W with you because you have a lot of controversial takes. And I only say that because my definition of controversy is like takes that you won't hear on ESPN, takes that are rooted in some behind the scenes kind of things, but also takes that are like as audacious as mine sometimes, but you kind of go against the grain. So let's just open it up with a discussion about like who are your top 4 teams right now in the WNBA in the 2025 season?
Well, I'm so privileged and glad that you said that about me. That warmed my heart. Some people call me a contrarian, but I don't know if they know how to spell it. But my 4 teams I would probably say would be obviously Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
New York, Phoenix, and I would probably say right now I'm loving my Golden State Valkyries right now.
Okay. And this is big news, Nick. This is the first time I ain't ever heard you mention your Las Vegas Aces, dog. What's going on?
Well, first of all, they not mine. I just cover the team like everybody else. I'm not a fan. You are the fan. I am not. I don't get a check from nobody, which gives me the all out right to talk about and critique the team the way I see fit. The thing with the Aces is this: like the Aces, and I've always said this. First of all, the face that runs the place, my basketball chief, acknowledge her, known as Asia Wilson,
Yeah,
uh, the MVP, P. Um,
facts.
she's dynamic in itself, right? You got the point guard over there with Chelsea Gray.
Yep.
You still got Jackie Young, who I think is a downright assassin.
Hmm.
And then you added Jewel Lloyd, switching her out basically for Kelsey Plum, who moved on to purple and gold pastures. So she thought. But anyway, I think it's just a new team. I think it's a new dynamic. I think it's I don't and I've always questioned their bench, and more so this year than I've ever questioned their bench in years prior. I think Becky Hammond is an absolute future Hall of Fame coach.
Yep.
I think she knows what she's doing. She'll forget more basketball than we'll know. And the thing about it is, I don't think they have enough on the bench. I love Aaliyah Nye. I think Aaliyah Nye was an absolute steal in that draft for them. I think she fits well. I think she's going to do well as long as she stays healthy. I think she's going to continue to do well. She's got all the support from not only Asia and Chelsea, which we saw on Sunday, but
Hmm.
also to the organization. But I also, there's some question marks there that need to be answered. I think they need a general manager. I think they need some money to really build that bench out and to really build that roster out.
Yeah,
Um, because Asia's going to need it. You cannot waste any years of Asia Wilson. I
I
don't
agree.
care if she's about to enter her prime, in her prime, past. I don't care when it is. You cannot waste crucial years of Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson needs to at least have at least 4 chips, like she's Maya Moore or anybody of that caliber, because
Yeah.
that's exactly what she is. Um, so the Aces they're trying to figure it out. The struggle was real, but I think are they a playoff team? Yeah, I think they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If they stay healthy, they'll definitely make the playoffs. I think Jewel Lloyd will finally figure it out. Maybe it'll take her a whole half a season to kind of figure out that offense, because people forget Becky's offense is a bit complicated, and it takes time for you to really master it and understand it and then be able to execute it on a nightly basis. Um, and that there's some things in there that you hear from former players that, man, her offense is kind of complex at times. So
Hmm.
you got to know what you got to know in order for you to be able to be efficient inside of her offense.
Yeah.
So it takes time. And then also too, like I said, they got to get her some more players. They got to get Asia some help. I mean, that's just what it is. The Fantastic Four that I mentioned, including the
Hmm.
rookie, that's all fine and great, but they need some help.
Yeah.
And whether it's this season or next season, you got to get Asia some help.
And the bench was always kind of what the Achilles heel for the Aces was, because it's undoubtedly when that starting five is on the floor, that starting five was on the floor. I do like the Jewel for KP switch only because it takes two of those players on an interpersonal level and takes them into two different directions, right? Jewel was the leader of Seattle, had been doing that, had been working with that administration, had become unhappy and frustrated at that organization, and moved on and take a leap of faith to not be the leader anymore. Whereas KP was doing the opposite. She wasn't really the roster number one go-to, even though she definitely, KP was a reason why they got a couple those two championships. But she's going and stepping out on faith and stepping into a leadership role where Jewel Lloyd just left, right? We're at a struggling franchise. You need to be a leader in the locker room. So I liked those for their two individual careers. What it did for those two rosters, I don't think it panned out like we thought just yet, for the same reasons that you said, right? It's going to take Jewel Lloyd a minute to figure out the offense. And same with KP, right? KP came into LA Sparks organization with a new coach, right? A fairly new GM with a whole new system and a whole new set of players. So they have not equal battles, they have both challenging battles, and they've been seeing hardship in that transition. So I'm excited to see those weathered season players, how they turn it on for the playoffs, because I think you're right. Vegas, I don't care how far down they fall. The players have played at such a high caliber that when the pressure is applied, they can turn it on and be a playoff team whenever.
I don't know how much longer you looking, because it's only 1 year, and that year we already eating into that year.
Yeah.
So when I look at Jewel Lord and when I look at KP, when I look at Kelsey Plum, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Because it's a year contract. There's no guarantee they're gonna re-sign with
Yeah.
those direct teams. They have the freedom to go elsewhere. And I mean, obviously, one of the main reasons was because of the new CBA that's on the horizon. They don't want to be stuck into,
Yeah.
their current deals, which was very, very smart from a business perspective.
Hmm.
With that, and I know there was a lot of talk about the CBA in the last couple of days from a lot of different players regarding the future of the CBA. But when I look at it overall, I look at this. I look at the Aces, and I think the Aces have a bright future. I think they have a really well ran organization. I
Mhm.
mean, from ownership on down. I mean, we've seen other organizations. When you look at the New York Liberty with Joe Tsai, when you look at
Yep.
the Phoenix Mercury, when you look at the Atlanta Dream, when you look at the Seattle Storm, or even the Portland team that's coming into the fold, or even Golden State, with
Yeah.
the Valkyries, how they've been able to have a good organization supporting them. And I think that's what's really missing. I think we don't really see some of these ownership individuals or groups really supporting these teams the way they need to be supported.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the results of that even here in LA.
Mhm. Mhm. And I hear what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. I do think that when you said what they waiting for, I think that sometimes you go into these positions and you think like I think both of them are trying it out, if it makes sense, right?
Mhm.
One year, KP could come to LA. This is there's no loss to her brand for this. She's coming to LA, which is a better market for her to be a leader on the roster. I'm not saying it's a better sports market. I'm not saying it's a better market for her to make more money, as you can see how Vegas went. But you come here to try out if you can be the leader in the locker room, see what this larger sports market is like. Um, and then if you decide to go somewhere else, if the season busts, ain't nobody gonna blame you and say, dang, why KP didn't resign? You would be able to see why she didn't resign. And two, she gets to try out the leadership role without committing
Yeah.
long term to the organization.
But the unfair part is there will be some that will blame her, right? Because
Right.
they'll say, well, you should have never left Vegas. You should have stayed in Vegas. You should have why'd you think you could come to LA and do X, Y, and Z? It's totally unfair.
Yeah.
But if that does happen, I agree with you on that regard. Oh my God, write that down, ladies and gentlemen. Um, but I will say that it's unfair because you can't. It's 5 on 5. It's not 1 on 5. You
I
can't put
agree.
all the pressure and all the expectations just solely on Kelsey Plum when she has four other players that she could play with, right? That
Yep.
didn't necessarily maybe didn't come through at different points throughout the season that they should have. You can't solely blame Kelsey Plum. Um, and I think Kelsey Plum is a star. I think she's
Hmm.
absolutely a flat out baller. Um, and I think she came here with the best intentions.
Yep.
Um, but however, intentions are like volunteer work and don't pay no bills. Either it's going to be or it's not. And if Kelsey does leave, which wouldn't surprise me, especially if they don't make the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year.
Nick.
Um, hey, it's reality. Truth hurts. It hurts, but it heals too.
They can
Um,
totally make a playoff push for sure. Because
when,
in the WNBA,
when,
here's
where,
the name of the
where,
game is in the W,
where?
the healthiest team last. We done had all our hardship at the beginning. Everybody done been
Okay.
injured at the beginning. So if
But here's the
after All-Star break, our
Mhm,
schedule could easily flip. We've seen this happen on the adverse where teams are at the top and drop to the
mhm.
bottom once the playoffs came.
Well, see, there's more layers to this story, and there's more layers to this story, and that's why I'm not convinced that they're going to make the playoffs. There's a lot of moving pieces that are happening that I don't feel confident in. Um, I love Rickea Jackson. I'm so happy that Rickea came back, and I hope she remains with the club the rest of the season because I think she's dynamite. Um, And I think as she continues to improve her game, I just saw something the other day when Kelsey was talking to Lisa Leslie about how much she admired, playing with Rickea Jackson, an intelligent basketball mind and an intelligent player. And that speaks volumes when you have somebody like KP speaking about you in your second year.
Mhm.
That speaks volumes and only basically been around you for, a few months,
2 months, yeah.
maybe played against you. But when you're in that locker room, now you get a chance to know somebody and really see what they're really about in practices and even, inside and outside the locker room. So for her to speak about that about Rickea Jackson, it speaks volumes. And then also too, when is Cameron Brink coming back? Because now that they sit at what is it, 4-10, maybe
Yep.
4-11 by
14.
the time this airs. Um, what is the rush for Cameron Brink to come back?
Yeah.
Because if I'm Cameron Brink, why am I rushing to come back for him? We're 4-11.
Yeah.
you know. Um, so I mean, and she's a major contributor to this organization, to this squad. I mean, Cameron Brink is an absolute baller.
Yeah, and we
She's
missing
that way,
defense right now. So that's we're
right?
literally even
So
with her being out. she was still one of the top defensive players, and she had missed like
Still.
11, 12 games in the season. She
Still.
was still at the top.
Still Cameron Brink. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know Ray Burrell's scheduled to come back in 6 to 8 weeks, and I hope she does make a full recovery.
Yep.
You never want to see players, injured and not be able to give their full potential
Yep.
on the floor. But, how long does it take her to get back into basketball shape?
Yeah.
And if you're so far down after the All-Star break, can you climb out of that hole? There have been teams that have tried and come up shorter than a midget at a urinal. I mean, it doesn't mean
we got
a whole lot.
30 games left. We got 30 games left. We
Actually,
a quarter
you
into
got less than that, but go ahead.
We a quarter into the season. A quarter.
You're a third into the season, but go ahead.
Okay, cool. The third into the season, right?
Well, go ahead. I do numbers
all of the
well.
arguably the best of the Sparks we haven't even seen. We had two hardship players on hardship, Nick.
No.
Hardship. We've been the most injured team for the last 3 seasons. Period.
DJ. Come on now.
Nick Hamilton.
I love you like a play cousin. But come on now. We
lost Ray Burrell in the first 46 seconds of the season. 46 seconds, Nick.
That's one player, DJ.
Then we lost Rakia Jackson to a concussion the next game.
Okay. Right. And so the Aces lost Asia Wilson, their top player. And they still battled out at 500. They're close to 500.
Nick, we had Leah King. Them played more minutes than Ray Burrell. Leah King.
You know what it comes down to, DJ. You know what this comes down to. Stop making you make more.
What it comes down to, Nick? I need you to make it clear. Make it clear.
You know what it is? It comes down to what? Who graces the sidelines, DJ?
You talking about coaching? What the coach gonna do?
Yes.
What she gonna do? What she need to do better?
First of all, don't even let me. I'm not gonna get you canceled on your show. So I'm gonna leave that.
Listen, talk. Let's talk X's and O's. I really want to hear your perspective on coaching. What Coach Lynn can do.
It doesn't even start with the coaching. You know where it starts? Up top.
What's missing?
It starts with the hiring. It starts with the hiring. First of all, and I've said this on my own show, the Hardwood 94, that you can catch every Thursday.
Yeah, plug it. Listen, tell my people what you're saying so they can go listen to you over there too.
What I said was, if I had an opportunity, there's 3 coaches out there I would have chosen before Lynn Roberts. And I don't have anything against Lynn Roberts. I think Lynn Roberts knows the game of basketball, okay? I've never said she doesn't know the game of basketball. I've never said she couldn't coach. Not saying that. What I am saying is, if you got a prime star in Kelsey Plum and she's on a 1-year deal, for whatever reason is on paper.
Yep.
Okay. But we know it's a 1-year deal. All right. Then we see the 1-year deal happen with a former number 1 pick from the Sparks. They end up, where's she at now? In the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
Why? Because they didn't make the playoffs. Right?
Facts.
Okay. You think Kelsey's if Kelsey is about winning, if she's truly about winning, right, and they don't make the playoffs this year, and she resigns, that will tell me a whole lot. If she doesn't resign, it tells me a whole lot too. But if I have a star player in Kelsey Plum, you best believe Lynn Roberts may be on the list, but she ain't the first call I get. You know who I will call? There's 3 people I'm calling.
I got one name in mind.
Leslie.
That's what I was going to say.
Lisa Leslie. I'm calling, if not, I'm calling Teresa Weatherspoon. If not, I'm calling Kyra Lawson.
Okay.
I'm calling them. One of them 3 gonna answer the phone.
Yeah.
First of all, why the hell is Lisa Leslie not coaching and not in Los Angeles is mind-blowing. We already know that according to some of the reports, one of the teams that passed on her is now struggling with the number 1 pick. Okay. Now, first of all, the Sparks have to create a culture. I have not seen them create culture. When you have a person like Lisa Leslie, and by the way, remind me of this, DJ, since you are the ultimate Sparks fan. Remind me of this. Who did Cameron Brink said she looked up to that was a former Spark?
It's definitely Lisa Leslie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not to mention, I'm gonna add some. Let me add some ammo while you cooking. Sure. Lisa Leslie was an active coach for the Big 3.
Yeah.
Coaching men at a high level and won a championship. So I'm
competed for
gassing you
chips.
up on that because I agree with the Lisa
Okay.
Leslie argument.
And correct me, this is a 2-time WNBA champion.
For our franchise, one of our all-time greats,
Oh,
if
okay,
not the
okay,
best.
okay.
Lisa
And
Leslie.
defeated the Avengers known as the Houston Comets.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking. Anyway, also uh mentored a young lady who we're about to put her jersey in the rafters,
Yep.
named Candace
Absolutely.
Parker.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You're right,
All
Nick.
right. So
I'm,
now
I'm,
that we got
I'm gonna
that,
be real with you, Nick. I was salty. Now I knew of Lynn Roberts because I followed the Utah and Alyssa Peely rise to fame, if you will. That's how I got. I'm not a Pacific Northwest kind of girl, so I wasn't familiar with Lynn's game. I got to know her. I think that she is a great fit for the Sparks long term now because I've met her, I've talked to her. I think where the organization is going. Would I have loved Lisa Leslie? Absolutely, undoubtedly. That was my
I don't
number.
think
That's
she
who
was a
I thought we
long-term
were
fit.
getting. I thought we were
I
getting
don't
her.
think
But
she's a
when I
long-term.
didn't get
Come on
her,
now. We're not
long
getting
term,
it. We wasn't getting her. We wasn't getting the three coaches we named, we wasn't getting. We
I'm
wasn't getting
shocked.
that.
I was shocked we didn't get
And
Lisa
and,
Leslie.
and
It seemed like a PR home run for me.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
You know
What,
how I hope, Nick.
shocked
Toxic
about what?
positivity. I thought for
If it
sure,
walk
man.
if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck and ain't no damn mongoose.
Nick, I thought things were changing. I saw KP coming. I got the
What,
bright lights. I saw the camera flashes. Rakia, right?
uh,
It made it
we in
seem like we was
California.
doing.
We in California. What stuff was you smoking?
Nick, I believe. I be believing.
I hope you have that kind of belief in God, because that's the only one that's
Man,
gonna come through for you. Because
unshakable
believing
man.
in listen, unwavering faith in God and yourself, hey, I'm all for it. Anything else that you can't control, not over
Don't
here.
do it.
No
Don't
Lord.
do it. Yeah. So
But I'm
I was
saying,
salty about that.
I'm not knocking the organization. I'm not knocking, because I think they have some talented players on that roster, but I think it comes down to coaching. I think it comes down to coaching and the coaching staff. And when you have a Lisa Leslie,
Mhm.
first of all, you build culture, because then Lisa, now if you're trying to build culture, right? Look what they're doing in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Who was on the coaching staff in Minnesota that helped win rather 4 chips, and is a product of that environment? Lindsay Whalen,
Yeah.
right? Who recently came to a practice before they retired her jersey? Simone Augustus, who was also a 4-time champ, right? Okay, you got Maya Moore at times sitting in the stands cooling out. You know why? Because the Minnesota Lynx know how to continue to upgrade and elevate culture. They show those young players, hey, these are the players that you want to be like.
Yeah.
Even Mama Taj,
Hmm.
right? Where are the former Sparks players coming from? Where's the Elena Beards? Yeah, we got Candace Parker, but that's a limited time like the McRib. Because we only doing a jersey retirement, and then we may not see her anymore,
Not
right?
like the
One thing is
McRib.
because she's very busy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, one thing, because Candace she's doing her media thing. She's doing a great job doing
She
that.
had Adidas
She's doing,
basketball. She got a
she's
lot.
busy with that. She got a family now. You know
Yep.
what I mean? She got a family she's continuing to raise, and that, which is a beautiful thing. I love that for her. She's happy, so she got a book tour that she's been on.
Hmm.
Um, which is a great read, by the way. And so she's busy, but the thing about it is you can bring back Delisha Milton. You can bring back
Yeah.
uh Elena Beard, who's a Hall of Famer. You can bring back Mawadi Mabika. You can bring back a lot of people from that former Sparks to integrate with this new generation of Sparks. But we
Yeah.
don't see that. And the person that could have bridged that gap would have been Lisa Leslie.
Bring
You
all
got
the
a
homies
floor
back.
named after her, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I just took a picture with the floor. I don't know. I'm such a Lisa Leslie fan. Again, Lisa Leslie is why I am a Sparks fan.
Lisa,
1996, 1997, the Chicago did not have a WNBA team. I was a little girl in Chicago watching the LA Sparks. That's how I became a fan, y'all. I'm telling you. So for me, I think it's such a miss to not bring back some of those players. And two, as a fan, I would be so excited if some of these players was coming back and I can get autographs, if they would set up some kind of old school, new school, blast from the past. I don't know. Let Cam and Lisa Leslie sign autographs together, something to connect and bridge the two generations.
I don't even see it from a marketing perspective. Like,
Yeah.
where is the marketing? Like, when I go to Vegas and I'm in that airport, you know what I see? I see Raiders, I see Aces, and I see Golden Knights.
Yep,
When
everywhere.
I'm in Phoenix, you know what I see? Suns, Mercury, and depending on the season, the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Okay? You know when I go through LAX? Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, maybe USC.
Not even the Clippers.
Not at airport.
Not in that area.
Not in that airport.
And
When
they
I go,
down the
you
street.
go to little airport shops.
Not up in there. But you know
No.
what? I
Maybe some
think
King
things.
stuff, depending on the year. Maybe you might find some LA King stuff, depending on the year, especially if it's playoff time.
Facts. I will say that I was just at a Fanatic store. No, Liz store, and I saw some Sparks jerseys up in there. They had KP.
Yes.
They had Cameron. This is the first time I've ever seen Sparks stuff out in the wild. Like you could actually shop, and they got enough jerseys for you to actually cop one. So I'm excited to see us on the shelves more. But I agree. Like there are no buses, there are no trains. Like even like when I first became a Sparks season ticket holder, they gave us these Metro passes that had the season ticket holder like thing on it. Like we were integrated into the city. Even like I had my stuff out. So I think maybe this year. I don't know if it caught them by surprise or what we doing. I will say this year.
No, we're not doing that. No,
come on,
no, we're not doing that. It's been the same for years.
There was some buses and trains. I remember seeing them, Nick.
It's been the same for years. That's all. It's
yeah.
been the same for years, and it's really sad because growing up in this city, being a part of the city. I mean, I've been to a Sparks game before I covered it. Before I even got in the media when they were playing at the Forum. You know, we got a couple of tickets, and we were able to get close enough to the court. You know, because we couldn't necessarily all the time afford Laker tickets.
Yeah.
You know,
to be close up, especially taking your family and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. We couldn't afford the Kings tickets all the time. You know what I mean? So they were the most affordable tickets going, and you saw people come out. You know, especially those first couple of years, you saw people come out, and you had a hometown person, at Lisa Leslie. I mean, Morningside High, USC.
Yeah.
I mean, she was homegrown. So she rep the West. So we gonna definitely rep Lisa. She rep the West.
Yep.
You know, and so I don't see that now. Like I don't feel that now.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, these are the faces of your franchise, which is Rakia, Cam, and Kelsey. Those are the faces of your franchise, at least for right now.
Yep.
And I want to see more of them. I want to see more of them. I mean, I love the slam cover. Don't get me wrong. Even though they had different regional slam covers, and that was great. But that's Slam magazine.
Yeah, that's
Every
not
fan should have got a copy. Every fan should have got a copy. Walking through the turnstiles should have got a copy of that Slam magazine.
That would have been lit. With a poster in the middle.
Every fan,
old school poster.
Every fan, right, or something to that. A T-shirt, a poster, the actual copy of the magazine. Like every fan should have got a copy of some sort just to represent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing I look at. It's like, man, you got to do. I mean, this league is growing exponentially.
Yep.
I mean, beyond Caitlin Clark, beyond Angel Reese, beyond Paige Beckers, this league is growing across the board.
Yeah, and across the world too. People are
right. I mean, we actually have. I mean, yeah, Caitlin Clark was just told that she got a heavy presence in Hong Kong. Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, when we think about China, we think about Jordan and Kobe and Yao Ming, and Kobe was probably the biggest one
over there.
Yeah. He wasn't even from there.
Iverson. AI had a lot. I had a lot of love.
AI, but it wasn't bigger than Kobe.
Oh no, it wasn't. Definitely wasn't
bigger than Kobe.
Oh, come on.
And that's what I'm saying. And Kobe, speaking of Kobe is the one that really thrusted the presence of the W, because when he came wearing that orange hoodie.
Yeah, agreed.
And he came with his daughter. He would come to games pretty regularly.
Yep.
And he would travel. And I was loving to see, like, when you see LeBron and AD in Las Vegas supporting Asia, or you see Kyrie, you know, going to games, or you see Chris Paul that would come to games, or even like we recently seen Kevin Durant, who is now a Houston Rocket, but him coming to games and supporting. Like, I love seeing that stuff because that's needed. But in LA, you can't tell me why Snoop Dogg shouldn't be sitting on a front row seat, him and his wife, boss lady.
Yep, hanging out at the game with his nieces and all. Yeah.
Where's the game? The game is a hooper. Why you ain't invited the game? You haven't invited exhibit?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a plethora of other people
I mean,
that
even
could
if you
that could be
wanted to
sitting there.
invite Ice Cube and do like
I mean, he could invite. That's purple and gold. That's
cross
right up his
promo.
alley.
I mean, he trying to do his big three thing. They could put him up there as the owner of the big three and just literally put the logo up there for a little bit, and he'll come sit on
That
the
ain't gonna
court.
happen though.
I
That
know it
ain't
ain't
gonna
gonna
happen
happen, but that would be a
because that's
smart play for the
because that's
streets.
but you
I
know
know East Coast West. He
the
beefing with the
politics.
NBA. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, the NBA
Well,
is
it
beefing
ain't
with him.
him.
I was gonna say he
There
wanna,
you go.
yeah, he
There
wanna
you
play
go.
nice, but they ain't trying to hear that.
So I'm saying, I'm looking at this like there's a plethora. I mean, you got Kendrick, you got SZA, you have
Yeah,
J Rock, you got Dom Kennedy, you have D Smoke. I mean, you got a plethora of people that could come out on a nightly basis and really fill up, really make that celebrity row. Look what they're doing in New York with the Liberty. They
yeah.
got celebrity row popping.
But also too, they invest in more in that. They already winning. You feel me? Like, so it's like for us, I don't know that they would invest a whole bunch of money and bring money, presence, media, PR, and we getting smacked up by the
Because you not because you want to go to EBT route. Can't go to EBT route and think you gonna be whining and dining at Ruth Chris. They
Nick.
don't accept EBT. They
EBT
don't
route
accept
is
EBT.
diabolical. How are he taking the EBT route, Nick?
Is
What?
Lisa Leslie gracing the sidelines right now?
I agree with you. Okay,
Okay. Is Teresa
I see where you're
Weatherspoon
going with
gracing the
that. I
sidelines
see where you're
right
going.
now?
I would listen,
Okay.
in no way,
Why
shape,
did I
or
mean why did
form.
we trade? Let me ask you this, DJ. Why did they trade the number 2 pick for a 1-year rental, possibly?
Oh man, with that draft, it wasn't nothing we could do with that. It wasn't nothing we could do in this year's draft with a number
So
two.
what's her name?
Malonga.
Dominique.
We already had. We got 8 girls
So,
that's 6'5",
so
bro.
wait.
We
So
don't
this
need.
goes back to so that goes back to drafting, right? So that goes back to drafting, correct?
Yeah, we already got
So
a dom. We could have got
we can't
Sonia
have it.
Citron. Okay,
So
Sonia Citron should have came
so
over
we
here.
yeah, you know why? Because we drafted at 9.
I'm. That's the
Okay,
only
so
thing.
if you would have
We
kept
didn't
the
need
2 pick,
Dominique Malonga though. The number 2 draft pick, Seattle could have had that one because we got all the. That's so much
nah,
redundancy.
listen, this is what I would have done. I'd have had the Twin Towers down here. I'd have been like, we're gonna have Cam and we're gonna have Dominique. Now Cam is on her way, working her way back. Dominique is, we're gonna work her in slow, like Noel Quinn and the coaching staff is doing, because I
Right.
talked to the coaching staff uh on before the last game. And I was asking them like, hey, what's the plan? What do you guys see with Dominique? Like, are you guys gonna kind of bring her on slow? It's kind of like a Shohei Ohtani type thing. Like, hey, we're gonna let her do 1 inning and then we're gonna
We're gonna see
sit
what
her on
happens from
down.
there. Yeah.
Right. And they're gonna bring her on slowly, right? Because they know she's the future.
Yeah.
And she got some Victor Wembanyama qualities. I ain't gonna lie.
She
Like,
cold. Hey, her game is really, really dope.
yeah,
And I just think it's too
and
much redundancy for our roster. We would have had to
but
because
this is what you cut it. You cut the deck. You
okay,
keep
so let's cut
here's
the
the
deck.
people.
Okay, take Malunga second. Walk
Mhm.
me through the rest of the roster. So you got the Twin Towers with Cam and Malunga, but Cam is on the bench, and we slowly working in Malunga. So while we doing that, De'Erica and Azare are holding down the 5 and the 4.
Mhm.
Okay, which is
And
what's
then
happening right now
once
anyway.
Dominique is ready, bye Azare, bye De'Erica. It's been nice knowing you, because the young ones
From the
got to come
team
up.
or
But
just
look, but
from the spot from the
no,
slot.
from the team, it's time to go. But that's years in the make. That's like
Okay,
a year or
years.
two
Okay,
in the make.
okay.
You got who was brilliant at developing young talent and making sure that they didn't go outside their wheelhouse too much? Sam Presti and the OKC Thunder.
Okay.
You can mimic this similar type of thing with that. If you would have drafted right, made sure. Now listen, I love Sanaa. I love that pick. I think she's a talent. I wouldn't have drafted Sarah Ashley Barker. I wouldn't have drafted her. And that's no diss to her. I just wouldn't have done it. I would have looked at other players at around that area. And then again, that's no diss to her. I'm just saying, if we're gonna keep the number 2 pick,
Yeah.
then there's no need to be drafting that way, right?
Yep.
And then you develop the talent. Yes, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going through a rebuilding period. So please be patient with us. We're going to rebuild. We're going through growing pains, but it's going to be sweeter later. You don't think the OKC Thunder told them people in OKC, hey, We just traded Paul George for a kid that we haven't even heard of yet.
Yep.
The guy but is immensely talented. But you're gonna watch over the course of time. Not only is he a leader, but he plays as a unit. And you bring in Lou Dort. And then you trade later on. Yeah, they traded for Hartenstein. They
Hartenstein. Yeah.
traded, and they built that roster, right? Chet Holmgren. You draft, you build.
I'm
And then
glad
they
you brought
got,
this conversation up because okay, let's talk about it. You talking about OKC versus the Sparks right now in comparison with building and telling people to be patient, right? So the Sparks have been in a rebuilding phase. When we were with Kurt, he was building this system. We were doing a thing. So people have been being patient. So then you take it from that rebuilding phase, but then you switch the coach. OKC got a new coach in 2020. They continue to draft. Jalen Williams and all of them was 2012. So they didn't fire the coach and scrap the whole system and say the coach is bad and do all the things. They let the coach develop alongside the players for those 5 years, which is what we're not seeing in the W. So it's like you can't even hold them to the same standard of we're building, we're growing. If every single turn we firing the coach and switching out the players.
Second time doing this program, I agree with you. And the thing about it is, okay, let's say you don't like the contractor. The contractor bails out on you. You want him to finish your bathroom up. He ain't finishing the bathroom in time. Okay, you fire him and find somebody else. But then the second time you find somebody else, make sure they finish the bathroom on time, on schedule.
Yep.
Right.
But the
And
plumbing
I
might
think
be bad from the last contractor, Nick.
well, that's what I'm saying. You got to gut that out. But
Yeah.
at least you got somebody that can recognize, hey man, this plumbing, these are 1965 pipes. No,
Right.
you got shafted, man. Let us
Yeah.
go in here, let us redo these pipes, let us redo this sink, and let's get this bathroom on so we can move on to the next job.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like. If you're gonna let Kurt go, then fine. Bring on Lisa Leslie, let her develop these young ladies, especially the bigs. Let
Yep.
her
Especially bigs. Because we a
find the
team full of
coaching
bigs.
staff. Right. Let her find the coaching staff that's needed, to be able to develop and be able to develop the rest of the players. And then let her be a manager. Let her be a game manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's what Becky is. Becky was a game manager.
Yeah. So because
Becky
she's
was Bill
player coach.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becky was Bill Belichick. She was the CEO. She was
Yeah.
like, okay, what do you have? Okay, what do you have? And then Becky sees something, she gonna implement it. But she was game managing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's what this team needs. They need a game manager on
Yeah.
the sideline.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, I'm not paid for this. This is just all conversation. Some
Yep.
people may agree, some people may disagree. It's fine. You listened anyway, so it's too late. You can't unhear what
Right.
you heard. But I say this because I want to see I was there when the LA Sparks went to the finals.
Yep.
Right, I was covering the team. Right, when we had those rivalries with the Minnesota Lynx and Maya Moore against Candace Parker, and you had NECA who was emerging as that player, and you had Chelsea Gray, and you had Atlanta Beard, and you had all this talented roster against the big bad Minnesota Lynx, and they
Yep.
were going at it like two heavyweights,
Yep.
back to back years, 3 years actually, to be honest.
Yeah. Those are our
And
rivals. People forget.
right, right, back then, yeah, it
Yeah.
was, and that's what I'm saying. And then watching Candace get the championship, and then going to the rally where it was 2,000 people at LA Live at the rally,
Yeah.
and going back the following year to the finals, and then unfortunately losing in the last game of the WNBA finals to
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Going through all that and watching, I mean, I want to see that again.
We
The
all
city
do.
deserves that. The
Yeah.
city deserves that. But again, if you don't do certain things on in the ground, the surface is not going to be right. If you
Yeah.
don't plant the right seeds, the harvest is not going to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that's where we are.
that's
There's
what
no
we are.
reason why this squad should be 4-10. There's
I
no or
agree.
4-11. There's no way in hell this squad. But that goes back to drafting, positioning,
Developing.
strategy,
Yep.
and development.
Executing.
Exactly.
Executing. So listen, I love talking Sparks, and I'm glad our conversation went on this way so we can figure out, because I think a lot of people I don't think you get a bad rap. I just think people think that you be hating and just be saying stuff. But now that you get a
It's
chance to
fine.
like say what you're
It's fine.
saying and give your justification, it's like, all right, cool. I can hear what you're saying. You know how I'm gonna feel regardless of people could say, listen, I have on paper that the Sparks think. I would look you in your face and be like, I don't know what that piece of paper say. You know I
Listen,
would.
I've been an advocate for the the Sparks will always have a special place in my heart because that's my very first professional team that I covered in this media business.
Yep.
They were my very first professional team in the second half of 2009. Okay, and that's the year Candace wasn't playing because she was pregnant with Layla at the time. So
Yep.
she took that entire year off, and she didn't come back to, I believe, part of 2010. So the Sparks will always have a special place in my heart as an organization, as a record label, and as a crew, right? But I'm here to tell it like it is and not like it was. And if you think I'm a hater, then hey man, that's your business.
Yeah. No,
Go
plenty of
jump
people
off
think
it.
I'm a hater on the internet. I'm completely fine with it.
I
So
mean,
that's
it's cool. It's cool. Nah, man, you are a homer.
why.
I don't understand how the hell anybody thinks you're a hater. You are a complete homer. I mean, lunchbox in hand, hat on, down to the you probably got some Sparks swimming trunks somewhere because I know how you
Hello.
get down, DJ.
Hey
I
man.
know you like to swim, get your swim on. You probably
Hey.
got some Sparks house shoes from the swap meet. I know you done went down to the Slauson and had the little man in the back get you some
Hey,
Sparks house shoes. I
hey,
know
you
you.
know I'm running to the wheels fall off. I don't care how bad it get on, how
The
ugly it
wheels,
is. Them my girls. So
the
let's
wheels to the rotors.
the roster. Nick, please, you killing me, man. All right, final question. Let's wrap this up. So where we are right now, what teams? I asked you about your four top teams at the top. Let's talk about the teams that you think are being slept on, and after the All-Star break are going to take off the second half of the season. Give me your prediction so we can circle back after, and we can have another show to talk about that.
I think the Indiana Fever. I mean, I think if Caitlin Clark, and I give Caitlin Clark a lot of credit. I think she admitted to, hey, man, the turnovers continue to kill us, and I'm the reason why they continue to kill us.
Yep.
And the thing about it is Caitlin Clark's going to have to figure out a way because the turnovers have not improved from rookie year to now. She's
Yep.
still continuing to battle with those turnovers, and she's going to have to figure it out. I know she's been struggling shooting, but that's not going to last long as Caitlin Clark, for God's sake.
Right.
She's going to figure it out.
The numbers game.
So I'm not concerned about that. I'm more concerned about her turnovers and players not getting themselves more involved. I love her and Aaliyah Boston. I
Yep.
think that's Shaq and Kobe.
Facts.
The women version. And there's no disrespect to the ladies. I'm not
No,
trying to compare y'all to
that's a good
men.
comparison. It's a sports comparison.
I'm just giving you comparison because we have nothing else to compare it to too much.
Yeah.
I think that squad is talented. Prayers up to Dewana Bonner. I know she's going through some personal issues, and
Yeah.
hopefully she's going to be okay, and her family's going to be okay, and whoever else, and I would love to see Dewana Bonner return because I think she's going to be a key element for them in that second half of the season, especially going into the
Facts.
playoff push. So I think Indiana's one.
Okay.
New York is shaky because because now that John Quells unfortunately went down, that's going to be a huge piece that they're going to have to pick it up. And again, they have some talent on that roster. I love the Natasha Cloud move. I
Same.
think that was the icing on the cake. Um, Natasha Cloud is a baller. She has excellent court vision. I mean, the way she runs that offense and is able to play off the ball. I think
Mhm.
people don't really pay attention to how she moves off the ball. Um, New York is one. I think Atlanta. I think people they're still not giving
Sleeping
Atlanta
on
their
Atlanta.
props with Alicia Gray.
Yep.
Listen, that woman. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be my first to say this, DJ. So
You heard it here
like I said,
first.
I love you like a play cousin. On the other side of the tracks, I am a WNBA national voter, and let me just say this: I have been thoroughly impressed with Alicia Gray
Yeah.
and that Atlanta Dream team, period. Between BG, Brianna Jones,
Mhm.
Ryan Howard. I love that coach. I love what they've been able to instill. See, they're instilling culture over there. That's what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. They're starting to have a culture. And I think Phoenix is gonna make a big push. I think
Yeah.
Nate Tibbetts, let me explain something to y'all. Everybody thought when the departure of Diana Taurasi and BG left, they thought, oh man, this team gonna be a lottery team, maybe hang around the bottom of a barrel. No, 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 no. When they got Alyssa Thomas, when they got Satu, and now that Kai's back,
Mhm.
let me. But the props goes to not only again DJ drafting
Yeah.
again, but also the Phoenix Mercury scouting team with those Euro players that they have
I
on
don't
there.
know none of
They
them girls. Okay.
listen. I had to go. I had to go watch some tape on them. I'm like, wait, where did they come from? What portal
Agreed.
did you drag them from? Are we going? Are we in the universe? You know what I'm saying? In the MCU? Are we in the universe?
What
I
is
mean,
happening? Yeah.
What portal did you drag these ladies from? Because man, they out there playing like a collective unit.
Yes, they are.
And that's what you and that's why they have the success that they have now. And I hope they continue that, because I think they are playing extremely hard. They're playing extremely well, but they're playing disciplined. And they
Agreed.
will run through a wall for Nate Tibbetts. Let me tell you something. I've been down there. They will run through hellfire and brimstone for that man,
Uh-huh.
because that's how much he believes in them. But he makes sure he puts them in prime positions to excel.
Agreed.
That's a coach.
Yeah. I,
And
I,
he
I
and he
think
will save them from themselves
I
at
think the
times.
Mercury, like you said, that was a team that surprised me the most. I mean, because with
Really?
Satu and AT, that was already I didn't think they were going to be at the bottom, but I didn't think they were going to have the impact that they have already, because I was so unfamiliar with the bench, because I was so unfamiliar with the other people that they draft. Like I'm not kidding. I'm not saying I don't even pretend to be like a person who knows everything about international players and all these, but I'm running my mouth constantly about basketball, and these girls came and just surprised me. I mean, watching them play in person was super, super impressive, especially because they all share the ball. They don't have no like superstar complex. There's not even a lot of people on the roster on paper for you to think that team is going to be as good as it is. So shouts out to the Mercury and the Valkyrie for being just
And
like two teams to just come out and
yeah,
swinging first.
and I said my co-host brought up a great point, Lauren Jones. She said,
Mm.
Minnesota,
Yeah,
because with Minnesota, they didn't have a lot of interchangeable pieces. They may
yeah,
have picked up a piece or two there, but they kept their
the core.
most of their roster intact.
Yep,
And that's why they've been successful the way they've been successful, even without unfortunately being without the services of Nafisa Collier.
yep,
They were able to still bring it to the forefront, and that is a talented roster. And
yeah,
they have a great coach.
yeah. Sure,
Cheryl Reeves
Reeves,
is
come
a
on, man.
great coach.
She is one of
She
the
is
like Olympic
she's one of
level
one.
men and women. I mean, she can scout, she can coach. I mean, like you said, her
But she
execution
has a
on
great
game day,
scouting department.
she does.
She has a great scouting department, and that's key.
Yeah,
They have a great organization.
yeah,
And yes, they're part of that Timberwolves, tree, but they have a great organization, and
yeah.
they know what they're doing. They know how to get stuff done. Courtney Williams, that to me, that signing a couple of years back,
Crazy
man,
signing.
was that a blessing in disguise for the Minnesota
And
Lynx?
then even
I think
Heidemann.
so.
Them ending up with Heidemann somehow out of that whole Connecticut trade. I'm like, how the hell they get Heidemann?
Oh,
Yeah.
what's and they have another player, by the way, number 21.
You talking about
You
Caleb
familiar with her?
McBride?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah, I
she
think
can't
LA's
miss.
LA's been pretty familiar with her. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure you remember.
I
Okay.
know, I
I
remember.
mean,
I remember.
so Lawrence said, "Hey man, I don't know if you can stop that train, so to speak."
No, no, no. I
And I
still
said, "Man, I can't disagree with you."
and right now the trajectory of the finals is exactly what the finals was last year. I mean, it's just the Lynx versus the Liberty again.
I
Looking at the
don't know.
I'm not saying I'm
I
looking at the
don't
numbers.
know.
1 and 2. 1 and 2, right? So if you
I
take
don't
that
know.
same
I don't
matchup,
know. I got a different finals prediction.
okay, listen, I'm just saying, looking at it right now. But if you were to take those two that's on top right now, I would say that Minnesota is going to win this year over
Oh,
New York.
Minnesota, they got a chip on their shoulder the size of Frito Lay.
I
They
mean,
they not
Cheryl
playing.
specifically.
They not
Cheryl
playing.
specifically.
They're not
So
playing. But I mean I call my finals, and I think it could happen. It could be Fever against the Lynx.
Fever Links.
And by the way, DJ, it's 7 games this year.
I know. I'm glad it's 7 games this year. We didn't need the
Who
5. We
who
need 7.
who's gonna watch 7 games if a certain person ain't playing? Just saying.
Oh, you said okay. Listen, Nick, you heard it here
Just saying.
first. That's the script. The WNBA done
Just
already
saying.
released the script. That's gonna
No,
be the
ain't
name of
no
this
script.
episode.
No, no, no,
The
no, no,
script.
no. Ain't no script. No, ain't no script. I'm just simply saying, for market value, for eyeball watching.
I'm with you. I think
Like
it's
if I'm
I
going to
love a
watch
story.
7 games, I want to see Caitlin Clark.
Shooting from the logo
Right.
like Steph.
I love Nafisa Collier. She's my MVP
Yeah.
so far. MVP is what I call her.
Mm-hmm.
She's my MVP. But I'm saying if I'm the average hit and miss type fan, if I'm gonna sit there and watch 7 games of a potential series, I want to see Caitlin Clark in that series.
And it's gonna be on
That's all I'm
ABC,
saying.
ESPN. I
Right.
agree.
I mean, there's no script. I mean, anything can happen. There's no guarantee that Caitlin Clark and the Fever are gonna make it. Even though that team is loaded, there's no guarantee she's gonna make it. Hell, there's no guarantee the New York Liberty will make it.
Facts, because if with the
You know
WNBA,
what I
once
mean?
somebody get hurt, you fall so
What-
fast in this
Hey
damn league.
man, what if Phoenix? What if we get Phoenix and the Lynx?
That would be
What if we
crazy.
get Phoenix and the Lynx?
That would be crazy.
That'd be great.
I agree.
That'd be great for the game, but overall, ratings wise,
Shit.
that's what I look
Okay,
at.
so let me play devil's advocate a little bit. For the same reason that you saying, the only reason you said Lynx is because they West. Okay. Because I'm like, damn, Fever
Lynx
versus
ain't really West though.
I know they ain't really West, but you know how the WNBA is. But what I'm saying is if they get Sabrina Ionescu versus Kaylin, couldn't happen because they on two different sides of the bracket. But
You can't. Yeah, I mean, it could now because there's no there's really no real definitive East West thing. Like it's
yeah, but
about
it's
seeding.
it's a low likelihood that it'll happen.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think, like I said, anything can happen. But if I'm the watcher, like who wouldn't want to see Caitlin Clark for 7 games?
No, I agree. I think you're right. And
Right?
I think you're
And we
most
talk,
right.
we talking about it. Like the mainstream media is talking about it. Yo, that's giving eyeballs to the game.
Yeah.
You know how much more money they could get now for next year?
This will rival
Man,
the 7 games that just happened in the NBA. The viewership will probably be the same.
listen. Yeah. But here's the thing. We're talking about a star who is on the rise to becoming a superstar,
Yep.
right? And again, Nafisa Collier, she is absolute flat out good as advertised.
Yep.
And I would love to see her win a ring. I
Me
would
too.
love to see Nafisa Collier win a ring.
Yeah.
I think she's played hard, she's earned it, she's put in the work.
She's gotten better year after year.
Yeah.
I agree. After
My
having a
only
baby,
concern is how long are we gonna have Nafisa Collier with that back injury?
I think she
Because
got.
it kind of
If she
reminds
don't
me of
win
Larry
this year,
Bird.
if she don't win this year, it's gonna be hard for her to battle back again next year.
And that's what I'm saying. It reminds me of the Larry Bird situation. When Larry
Yep.
started having real back issues, he wasn't the same Larry Bird. He battled through it. I give him a lot of credit, but he battled through it. And I'm concerned. That's the only thing that concerns me. That's why I'm like, the clock is ticking for Nafisa. She got to at least get one because
Yeah.
she's too good not to get one.
Not to get one. Yeah.
Should have had one already. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But
They lost by one play.
They got an opportunity
Yeah.
to go after it again. And she's got a great squad around her. She's got a great coach in Cheryl Reeve, as I said. Great organization. And I think they can do it. But I mean, again, there's some teams out there listen, they're gonna try to get a stripe off of her like Adidas.
Yeah. Hey.
And
The Indiana
you know,
Fever is
so,
hey,
they right there.
Nick,
They figure it out. Woo.
I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm so glad you took some time to chat here today. So thanks so much, Nick Hamilton, for just talking WNBA, but also, giving us a little bit of your finals predictions and bringing up a possible Game 7 with a Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is like the icing on the cake to finish the episode. So before we get out, Nick, let the fans know one more time where they can find you on the internet.
Well, you can find me. First of all, I love the W. I've been loving the W for 16 years and counting. So I'm always advocate for the W, no matter what. You can find me at the Hardwood 94, which is our show with myself and Lauren Jones, Lojo. We do this. We get together once a week, Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on YouTube at youtube.com/at Nitecast Media TV. You can also find me at the NH Experience on Instagram, as well as on the Twitter, XYZ, whatever you call it now, at Nick Hamilton 213. And also follow us at Nitecast Media on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. That's NITECASTMEDIA.
All right, y'all.
Sure.
If you are listening in audio, that is going to be in the description. If you're on video, same thing, but I'm going to put it on the screen as well. Thank you so much, Nick. I've had a good time here running my mouth about the W with you. And for everybody who's listening, I go by the name of DJ Tricey Trice. You already know me, and I say posted up right here, running my mouth about sports. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode, and I will check you out on the next one. All right, that's a wrap on the post up. I ran my mouth, said what I said, and now it's your turn. Drop a comment, share it, and come back tomorrow, because I'm not done talking. And make sure you follow me on social media at DJ Tricey Trice. That's at DJ TRICEY TRIC.